Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Patrick, aka Chief Pat, and today we're going to be hopping into another 12-win deck inside of Clash Royale, where as soon as I went 12-0, Supercell announced the balancing changes to date. That's right, I went 12-0 using this deck, and an alarm goes off inside of Supercell headquarters whenever I do that, because that means the deck is way too strong, and that's going to be the Mega Knight bait deck that's been plaguing the community, and so many people hate to go against. This deck is super annoying. They ended up nerfing the Mega Knight, the Skeleton Barrel, the Inferno Dragon, all of these cards because they're such a pain to deal with, and honestly it's not that fun to play against. So I ended up using it in my very final challenge before they ended up releasing the balancing changes. So let's go and check out the final 3 battles that I did to end up securing 12 wins. And I actually did this while I was talking to people. I wasn't barely even paying attention, and for me, it's not like I get 12 wins all the time. And, to be able to just talk and be messing around. I think I was doing an interview when I was at this Vainglory event while just swiping my phone and spamming cards over and over and over again. And I still ended up going 12-0. It's ridiculous. I'll show you guys the chest that I got at the very end of this episode. But let's just go ahead and hop right into this right now. And this first battle started off really, really hectic. This was when I was 9-0 going for my 10th win. Obviously, as soon as I started figuring out some of his cards, I realized I was going against the same exact deck, except he actually has Minion Horde inside of it, which I didn't know for a very long time. But check this out. We're just spamming over and over and over. Eventually, right now, I'm down about maybe 1.5 elixir, but I do have about, a 400 damage lead. He doesn't have any spear goblins left, so those are just going to run down the lane and die. And I really like playing this deck super aggressive. For someone like me, I don't think a lot when I go on offense. I'm definitely the type of person who's the first person to go in with a type of deck like this, or even in general in Clash Royale. You guys see that I hate waiting, for the game to go to 1 minute when it's a stalemate and no one's playing cards. I love to just go hard in the paint and go on offense. And for this deck, because of how brainless it is with the zap, or with the bait that you're playing around zap, it actually works out really well. So playing this one, he's going to do Skeleton Barrel down the lane. He split his bats up and he threw down his miner. Honestly, what I should have done right there is played my Mega Knight, and I would have been able to get so much value out of that Skeleton Barrel and the Miner, but instead I played my Goblin Gang, and that was one of my first real mistakes inside of this game. But of course, we're going to keep on offense right now. I know that his zap is out of cycle because of the zap that he just used on offense, so all we're going to have to do is just keep spamming cards. I realized at this point he's going to have to drop his Miner on defense. Never really a fun sight to see, and he still has some good cards going in on offense, and I'm going to have to play some minions defensively. So really, not playing that Mega Knight in this matchup was my biggest mistake. Honestly, the Mega Knight can totally make or break this matchup. The Mega Knight is so good at basically just turning this game from an even game to GG, but normally it gets thrown down in double elixir. You don't want to play it too much in single elixir, especially if you're going against an Inferno Dragon, which obviously he actually doesn't have because he has the Minion Horde. That was the one card that he changed out. So it looks like, he wasn't able to get that legendary card right there. I'm going to avoid playing my zap on the Skeleton Barrel. Now we're going to play our Mega Knight on offense, and I'm going to see what he can do. And look at that. We ended up getting a beautiful play onto his Minion Horde, and then all my Spear Goblins are going to eat that Minion Horde up. My Mega Knight's going to jump onto the tower, and at this point, guys, there's almost nothing he can do. He has to zap down my Inferno Dragon, but the game's basically over from here. We did so much damage on that push. I'm going to keep spamming Miners, Spear Goblins, Goblin Gangs. No possible way he could come back from that, and we're just going to go ahead and chip down that tower for GG well played. The Mega Knight changed the game. All we did was play that Mega Knight at the bridge after we had a huge elixir lead. I defended against the Skeleton Barrel really well without using zap, and since I had zap in rotation, I knew that if he had Inferno Dragon, I could just zap it down, but instead, he played Minion Horde, which I just zapped down, and my Spear Goblins ended up eating up so well. It only takes 1 spear from each Spear Goblin to clean it up, so with 3 Spear Goblins, it takes like probably a second to kill the rest of those minions after they've been zapped. And that was for going 10-0 inside of this challenge, and that's how easy this gets. Now check out this next deck right here. This guy was actually playing P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight, a combination you don't really see that often. So I'm going to play my Mega Knight on top of his Royal Ghost. I didn't really have a better card to play. I think I had Miner in rotation, but I didn't have Goblin Gang, so I could have used my Miner for an even elixir trade because the Miner will clean up that Royal Ghost pretty well. So he's going to throw his P.E.K.K.A. down right here, which honestly is a good sign for me. I'd much rather go against P.E.K.K.A. than Mega Knight with my deck. And then now that he does that, Goblin Gang's going to go down right here. And inside of this battle, watch how I use my Skeleton Barrels. I'm going to show you guys in a moment, but the Skeleton Barrels are super key for keeping the Electro Wizard off of my Inferno Dragon. Whenever you're playing Inferno Dragon against a tank, you always want to make sure you have a card in front of your Inferno Dragon, so if an Electro Wizard gets plopped down, the Electro Wizard will just shoot that card and not get in range of your Inferno Dragon. It hasn't happened quite yet in this battle, and by the way, look at this right here. Our Inferno Dragon's gonna lock onto his Arena Tower, take it straight down to 0, and yeah, that was the end of tower number 1. Easier said than done. We've only got 400 damage left on, or done on our right-hand tower, but still, he has 2 super expensive cards that if they break through and I make a big mistake, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble. I actually thought he gave up at this point because I thought there was no way that he was this far down in Elixir, but he wasn't, so I zapped the King Tower to get a little bit of additional damage. I ended up mistiming it anyways, so stupid play from me. And now that the Elixir Collector's down, I'm going to go super aggressive on offense. So here goes my Skeleton Barrel, here goes my Spear Goblins. Miner's going down. He wants to defend against that Miner, so he plays his Mega Knight. But look, the Miner still gets 2 hits against the Elixir Pump, which is so clutch right there. That definitely made a big difference. But now I'm down a lot of Elixir because he's got an Elixir Pump, he's got his Mega Knight down, and we're basically even on Elixir right now. So check this out. This is what you have to do. I'm going to play my Inferno Dragon, Goblin Gang, and check out the Skeleton Barrel. Skeleton Barrel going in front of my Inferno Dragon to make sure the Electro Wizard never gets in range of my Inferno Dragon and zaps it down, and that's super crucial. There's so many times that Skeleton Barrel can be used defensively, and even with its nerf, I feel like it's going to be a fine card. Honestly, changing it to 6 skeletons isn't the biggest deal. I think it makes it so you can deal with Skeleton Barrel without Zap more effectively, but still, it's going to have a lot of strengths inside of this meta. And yeah, basically the name of the game, once again, guys, we've got our Inferno Dragon. Don't play your Inferno Dragon at the bridge because then he just plays E-Wiz. Look at my defensive Skeleton Barrel again, guys. That defensive Skeleton Barrel cleaning up that E-Wiz so it can't walk forward into my Inferno Dragon. I'm going to go ahead and burn down both the P.E.K.K.A as well as the Mega Knight. 14 Elixir for 4 Elixir seems like a positive Elixir trade. Obviously, I threw some other cards in there as well, and that was basically the end of the game. That game was definitely a lesson in protecting your Inferno Dragon against the Electro Wizard, because that was something I had to learn whenever the Inferno Dragon came out. You can't just place it on the Wiz, or on the bridge, because you're going to get an Electro Wizard placed behind their tank, and it's going to destroy your Inferno Dragon. You're going to end up losing the game pretty handily. But anyways, that was for 11-0 inside of this challenge, and we had one more person to tackle to get to the top. It's been a long time since I actually commentated over replays. If you guys remember back in the day, I used to commentate over replays all the time until maybe like the end of 2016. I switched to doing live battles, so this is definitely a throwback. Checking this out, we're just going to split our gang. We don't really know what our opponent's playing quite yet. He plays his Inferno Dragon, and at this point, we sort of realize we're going against a similar deck. Whenever that Inferno Dragon comes out, I assume it's going to be some sort of Mega Knight bait deck or Mega Knight Hog Rider, but, you know, I don't see that as often as this right here. So we're going to get some solid Miner damage. I play my minion, but he plays, or I play my minions, but he plays his Miner in a really good position, actually, to where the Miner took my minions behind my tower, so I had to play a Skeleton Barrel defensively again. But we're just going to head down the lane. Zap for zap trade is going to be pretty easy right there. And so far, we've got about a 300 HP lead, and we're just going to keep spamming Spear Goblins, keep the pressure applied using this deck. And, you know, you don't always have to wait to get to 10 Elixir. I know that's something that plagues me sometimes, but you don't always have to wait to 10 Elixir, especially using this deck, since he did just use bats on the opposite, or zap on the opposite side when we traded zaps. I know that I can go aggressive with my push. Really, when you're playing this deck, you always want to be tracking when your opponent has their zap. And check this out right here. So the Mega Knight walks forward. If I played my Mega Knight right there, his Inferno Dragon would have ate it up. So I have to play minions first and then my Mega Knight, but my Mega Knight I knew was going to miss. I was just like half an Elixir off from being able to play it on time. So instead, we're going to take a massive amount of damage. I've got to zap that Inferno Dragon just to make sure my Mega Knight can kill his. And yeah, that could have been so much cleaner. If I had half an Elixir more right there, I could have cleaned up that push and not ended up taking all that damage. And he's going to throw out some cry faces. He thinks he's going to win right now. He is up 3 Elixir, throwing a Miner down the lane. I'll just use my Spear Goblins, great counter to the Miner, and then they're going to shoot at the Skeleton Barrel. Of course, we've got to be afraid of that Skeleton Barrel, or him zapping our Spear Goblins and making it a tougher push. But my Goblin Gang's going to turn around, and check this out. He already used his zap, so we're going to throw our Miner straight down the lane. We have our zap right now, so we can zap down his Spear Goblins, and that's going to be the end of his tower right there, and that's exactly what we needed. He used his zap on offense. We had our zap for our offensive push, and we ended up stomping him out. His Miner goes down the lane. I didn't know what I should do right there. I think I was literally talking to someone doing an interview about Vainglory, so I just threw down my Mega Knight. Because I wanted to protect that tower. I knew he didn't have direct damage besides the Miner, so I could win this game 1-0, but more realistically, I'm going to go for that 2-0 push and check out my Skeleton Barrel down the right-hand lane. No one told him about that Skeleton Barrel in the right-hand lane, so as soon as it explodes, my Mega Knight's tanking for both towers, and it looks like my Skeletons are going to ravage that tower down to 770 HP. Beautifully done right there, applying pressure in both lanes, and, you know, capitalizing on that Mega Knight that I wasn't even sure I really needed. My Inferno Dragon's going to go in now. I definitely have to be pretty aggressive right here, and he he knows that he has to, play his miner onto my other side, or else there was nothing he could really do. He actually follows up with a zap because he thought, that I might defend against that miner right there. But instead, I'm going to let that miner go. I'm going to go on an offensive push, miner Spear Goblins plus our Inferno Dragon. His Mega Knight misses everything, although it does tank a couple of Spear Goblin shots while he gets his bats back in rotation. 414 HP. Since we don't have Poison Spell, and, he can catch our miner every single time, this game is definitely not over. But another defensive, Skeleton Barrel is going to clean up this Mega Knight with our Goblin Gang. Gotta love that defensive Skeleton Barrel. I ended up zapping down to Skeletons, just for fear of something crazy happen. Probably didn't have to use that zap right there and could have eaten the damage. But at this point, all we need is a couple more successful miners, maybe one or two, and this game's going to be over. Spear Goblins onto his miner. Very easy little trade right there. Gonna go for one more super aggressive push. Loading everything up. His bats are going to get taken out. We're going to go ahead and zap down those Spear Goblins. Looks like our push is running down the lane. 116 HP left. Not really too much he can do. One more miner hit plus a zap is going to end this game. So this will be the final defense to wrap stuff up. Positive elixir trade on top of that Mega Knight plus the Goblin Gang right there, guys. They reduced the Mega Knight's death or jump damage by 25%. Plus it's like deployment damage. But miner zap's going to end this game. GG, well played. And that was a clean 12-0 inside this challenge. It was pretty solid, guys. We ran our way through it. I posted it on Twitter, and instantly people are like, oh my lord, you're using the most toxic deck in the game. This deck definitely is super toxic. It's not very fun to play against. Honestly, for playing it, I didn't feel like I was giving the game like 85% of my attention, and I went like 12-0 while doing interviews. So, if a monkey like me can do that, then anyone can do that. And that's definitely why they nerfed this deck. But hey, we got one more day to play this deck. If you want to go for 12 wins, make sure you guys go ahead and try it out right here. If you want to see the chest I got, this is what I got inside of it. I ended up getting a miner, which obviously I didn't need. The only legendary I need right now is the Royal Ghost. But yeah, felt good to go 12-0, and that was basically it for this challenge. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys check out the new balancing changes coming out tomorrow. If you haven't checked them out, they're on ClashRoyale.com. Lots of nerfs, lots of buffs. Valkyrie could be good again, although she's still super slow, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.